Edition of the program brought to you by PCEI. PCEI represents People's Creative Empowerment International. They are into empowering people across boards, and one of the empowerment programs, like we mentioned last week, is coming up this March, and it's going to be for those who are into healthcare givers. All right. If you want to learn a lot around healthcare and giving healthcare, this opportunity should not pass you by. The Reverend is going to touch on that a little, but of course today, like we mentioned last week, it will be around the principle of good governance as it relates to the local government's system of governance. We have live in the studio with us Reverend Toby Namani. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Welcome. Good morning. So let's first of all talk about this particular caregiving initiative that is up in the month of March. I know you touched on that last week largely, but let's touch on that just a little, maybe like 5-7 minutes to remind us about what this particular 5-day training is all about and why it's important for people to participate.
Thank you very much. We are expanding this program, Caregivers, to include those who are also going to work in Nigeria.
Okay.
With a specific focus on first responders, as we call them, drivers, maids, cooks, those who are around when something might happen, especially for those who are impaired, those who are not able to do certain things for themselves, what we call basic life services, taking a bath if you need someone to do it. In school, every school is actually supposed to have a caregiver, someone in the nursery school, the primary school, in the secondary schools, even in universities. Those that if something happens suddenly, who is going to administer first aid? Before you go through the go-slow to reach the hospital, and then they keep you at the emergency section for hours, and those who are not supposed to die actually die because of all this. So if you have people who know what to do, so these people are asking them to come, drivers in schools who carry children. If one of them falls off the car, so what do you do, the bus? What do you do before you reach the hospital? It is also for those who are intending to go to the UK to work. I tried to explain last time that the population of old people in Europe is very high, and the population of the young people is very low, and that is why they are allowing people from Africa to come and help them in the healthcare system, especially in caregiving aspect of it. It's not because they love our people so much, but because they can't help it. They don't have the young people to work. So we're training people who will go to the UK to do caregivers work. So this training is number one. Then the second aspect of it is to do some internship of about 200 hours, which will help the person to arrange, and then to do some English proficiency tests. These are the three basic things. Other things like COVID test, TB test, international driver's license, police clearance, those ones are easy to get. But the most important are these for the first three. So this training is taking place at St. Mary's Catholic Church, Transekulu.
Okay.
It begins on the 14th of March and ends on the 18th of March.
Okay.
So we are asking those who are interested to call me on my WhatsApp line 08036378803. I take it again, 08036378803. Chat me up, and then I will send you a flyer where the information is contained, and then when you are convinced of it, you can pay for the training. The fee for the training is 120,000 naira, and I told you last week that it has been, we got a subvention from 250,000. Someone has paid 130 for each participant, and the balance of it is 120. And this training is conducted by people from London.
Okay.
Yeah, through Zoom. Part of it is done here, but basically the training is from London. And those who participate will get this certificate from London that is acceptable everywhere in the world. So asking those who want to go to the UK to join this training, and those who will work in Nigeria too, because we need caregivers here in Enugu. When you have an old parent or someone who has a stroke, you need someone who knows what to do to stay by that person and be able to help that person to get over basic things in life.
Right. If you do this training, do you have already made job? Does the institution also provide that for that individual?
Yes, we will help that person to access the employment in the UK to get what we call a COS, Certificate of Sponsorship, which does not mean that they give you money or sponsor you in anything. It means that you will get a job, you get an employment letter which you will take to go to the embassy to procure a visa to travel.
Okay.
So this recruitment is going on now.
Oh, wow. All right. I think in that, repeat the number, and it's a 5-day training, I understand.
Yeah.
Repeat the number and the address of the training.
The venue is St. Mary's Catholic Church, Trans-Ikulu. And my number is 08036378803.
All right, you're listening to the People's Creative Empowerment International program. Apparently, this program is sponsored by this organization that are into empowering people with not just knowledge or information. It's also basically sponsoring you and giving you this empowerment that would give you an opportunity to earn a whole lot of money. Because I understand that this caregiving job pays a whole lot. It's one of the professions that pay you a lot, because I've seen that online a lot of times. The amount of money that's being paid per week.
Per week, and if you work on holidays and weekends, you get 60% on top of what you are supposed to earn. The point, Charles, is that people, they have worked and they kept money to take care of themselves when they grow old. So caregiver job is the smallest job that you can get, because with your masters and PhD, they will not employ you to do any work there, because their standard is different from our own. But this caregiver job is you work basically like a ward-maid attendant, but that job is also very, very important. And one might be earning like 2.5 million naira equivalent in a month.
2.5 million naira?
Yeah, if you convert it, yes, exactly.
Does it have any age restriction?
Between 15 and 60 years of age. If you are still strong enough to be able to assist someone, you can come for the training.
Okay. I'm sure we would keep reminding people regarding this opportunity as we build up to that day. It's the 14th of March.
14th to 18th of March.
So it's a 5-day training. So let's flip it now. The principle of good governance, the principles of good governance, as relates to local government. How do we begin? We know that local government, tier of government, is actually the third tier, and it's the one that is directly impacts more on the locals. But one wonders really, to what extent have we gained anything with this local government? We know there are several allocations that local government actually collects every month, but then you wonder if these allocations really come, because you don't see anything that happens, even with this humongous amount of monies that actually get allocated. Let's begin from that at least. Reverend, how important is the local government tier of governments?
It is very important, especially in developing countries where more than 70% of the people live in the local areas. So remember, the white people came and created urban centers, what we call township. And very often people tend to rate the development of a state or a country according to the small townships that are created. So the Enugu township, what is the size? It's actually is not up to 5% of the land mass of Enugu state. And then you concentrate whatever we call development or social amenities for about 5% of the total population of a state in this place you call township. And then the other people who live in the rural area, they don't get anything. So that kind of governance is not really what democracy is all about. But I would like us to look at what actually is good governance. Good governance comes from the fact that the law is what rules, it is not individuals. So you have a situation which the Igbo people perceived at the beginning. Let's just emphasize this fact that the Igbo people at the beginning found out that you cannot give only one man power and he holds it alone because he's going to abuse it. So power was diffused, it was decentralized, that you have clusters of people who exercise power so that it will not be in the hands of one person. And that was why they refused to have kings. So I continue to emphasize the fact that stop crying that Igbos don't have kings, because there's no need for that unless you want this kind of thing that is happening now. So it is the rule of law, it is that power is shared. So and that's why in democracy you have the executive arm, you have the legislative arm, you have the judiciary arm of government. So when we are looking at what is happening in the local government, good governance, I found out that in the constitution, which I have a copy here, the local government is actually not really in the main constitution. It is put as an appendage in what they call schedule. Schedule 6 is where you have a few things, just one page or half a page written about local government. And we know that local government is third tier. You have the federal, you have the states, and then you have the local government. And from what we discussed previously, how the warrant chieftaincy was abrogated between 1929 and 1930, and native authorities were created, which later gave rise to what we call local government today, in what was what came out of the Dasuki report of 1976 that created what we call local governments today. In Nigeria, we have 774 in all, and Enugu has only 17 out of these 774. So, looking at the schedule, what was given to the local governments as their own functions, and that every month allocation comes from the federal government, part of that allocation goes to the states and the other part goes to the local government to do a lot of things. But what we are saying is that the facts on ground seems to be that nothing is happening in the local government. As I'm talking now, please listeners, just take a picture of your local government headquarters. Just have a picture of it if you have ever been there, and try and see if you can picture how that place looks like. I visited about 7 of them. The one that is close to where I am is the Enugu East. You enter that local government, you look at how the whole place is. It doesn't look like where activities are taking place to serve the towns that make up the place. Ornamental trees, you'll be looking at a local government headquarters as a place where you can have some beautiful trees, have good buildings that are maintained, and you go there, you don't find anything. The chairman is never there in the office, so maybe his secretary comes to office occasionally, and that's where you might have a seat even to sit down. At the local government headquarters, you may not have water. You may not even have proper toilet where people who come to access certain services might even go to ease themselves. You don't have anything like that going on. But if you go to Google and, for instance, Google Enugu East local government, you see allocations on monthly basis. And you ask yourself, where is this money going to? And what we hear from the grapevine, the rumors flying around, is that about 60% of that money goes back to the state, and 40% that remains is shared in a certain sense. What they call stakeholders collect their own, and maybe part of it will go into paying salaries for the primary and secondary school, and then nothing else happens.
Wow.
So that is the experience that we have. So this is a contradiction of what we call good governance, because you can see that there's no accountability, there is no openness. The resources that are coming to the local government are not reaching them, and that is why the health sector is not functioning, because the local government is supposed to take care of clinics, it's supposed to take care of schools, supposed to take care of roads, supposed to take care of motor parks, markets. But I can assure you, if you go to Gariki Motor Park, which is, I think that is the biggest here in Enugu, you will not find a place to ease yourself. There is no water there. But people who are entering buses and cars in the motor park, they pay. You know, you pay tax. When you are charged to go from here, from Gariki to Soka, you have to pay. In the amount you have paid, you are supposed to have paid tax. So who is it that is running this park that has no water, has no toilet, is not tarred or cemented in such a way that when it rains, people can confidently walk into the park and they board different vehicles to go to where they are going? So money is being extracted from people from this park, going into the pocket of the rich. You remember our analogy is that what happens here is that you extract money from the poor and give it to the rich. So who is raising objection about why you don't have toilet in this park? Well, this park has no water, but it's generating money every day. I'm not talking about the federal allocation that has come to this local government. I'm talking now about the ones that are being generated.
Right. What sort of reform do you think we can have to make it effective? Because again, recently there was this vote that was supposed to have happened that would give the local government some autonomy, but the State House of Assembly voted against it. And then you wonder whether really that's what we want at this point in our lives, especially as it concerns local government.
It is very curious to find out that the governors who, so to say, appointed those who are in the House told them to vote against it. Because voting for local government autonomy means that money might go directly from the federal, and that the chairman has the authority to disperse this money, to use it actually for the people. And it is the House that is representing the people that voted against it, that says they don't want local government autonomy. And that's when I say you can see that the government will become a big obstacle for governance. So you cannot characterize this as governance, not to talk about democracy. You ask yourself, why is the House opposing local government autonomy? Look at what might happen if they gain autonomy. The chairman will now have some financial power. Remember what happened some time ago in Udi, when the local government chairman refused to sign that he collected the money he didn't collect. And it became a problem.
Yeah.
And he resigned. The only one I've heard. He resigned because he refused to sign that he collected money that he didn't collect. So he will become independent, financially independent. But what we know about local government is that the executive, they sit together and they say who is going to be chairman in Enugu is in Kano West. And they arrange it, they call you up and say we are going to make you a chairman. of course, you have to sign your resignation paper before you take the employment. Yeah, if you begin to do what they don't want, you have resigned already because you have signed the paper.
Really?
Yes. If it is not, tell me why those people cannot come out to say we did not receive money or we are not being allowed. So it's a cult. When I tell you that the independence of Igbo towns have been taken away, and you replace the warrant chief with the current person who, the emperor that is sitting somewhere controlling all the local governments, and those who go in there, you can see that that participation is not there, which is one of the principles of good governance. The people are tied up and held like this in their own place by their own people, not by the white man, not by anybody from Britain. What is happening now is worse than what happened during the colonial era.
Worse?
Yes, I'm telling you now. Look at the roads that were built in Enugu, East Central State, Enugu as the capital by 1966, 67 to 1970. Remember I told you when we were talking about the Civil War that no war took place in the Enugu town. Yes, the federal soldiers, the war started on July 6th. By September, they had taken over Enugu. So no war took place here. So when I came to Enugu after the war, I still saw good culture on the road. Water was still there. Most of the things that the white people left here. And when they left, our own people came in and ran everything down. So when you talk about good governance, you don't have any governance at all. So when you are appointed in that way, what do you think that is going to happen? Have you ever heard any of them talking? And by the way, what is even worse, this will shock you, Charles. When some parties talk about structure, look at what that structure, part of what it means. I was conducting a research on local government administration. So I went to one of the local government to find out how many workers do you have here. And somebody who worked there before went in and did some work and brought a figure. And that figure was lying on the table when the lady in charge came in and said, who is giving this information out? And took it and tore the paper.
Wow.
Yeah, because she doesn't want people to know what the information, the secrecy that surrounds administration here, by not knowing that the person has already gotten the information. That 80% of people who work in the local government are ghost workers. That is the structure we're talking about. Yes, people who are paid on monthly basis, but they never appear in the local government to do any work. And these people are those who they are sure will vote for them, because not voting for them means you will not receive the next salary. Unfortunately, some of those who receive this money are those who are not in need of it. But they are cronies. They are people who have helped in one way or the other during campaign, and then you have to pay them back by enrolling them in the local government. And I noticed that my local government in Kano East has about 500 and something workers. Enugu North has about 1,000 and more. Enugu East has about 900 and. But go to the local government yourself and see how many people are you going to see that are working.
Wow. So
you can see you have non-existent local government that is incapacitated, that cannot work. And worse still, the process of recruitment into the local government. You know, in the civil service, they do what we call appraisal. I'm sure you do it here.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, this position, after some time, the owner will want to conduct how are you doing the work. And the how is going to determine the next position you might get.
Right.
So in the local government, what they call appraisal does not take place. Nobody is going to demote anybody. Nobody is going to be punished since you are not coming to work. So what are you going to evaluate? And then you come there, it's like a joke. I actually wonder how we condone such a thing. In one of the places our NGO, we went to offer to plant trees, the ornamental trees I'm talking about in the local government, and they refused.
They refused.
Yes, we had money to buy ornamental trees to plant and water them for them to grow, so that when you come to the local government, you have shades. Some of them are put in the wilderness,
Wow.
where you come and basically it's not conducive for you even to sit down to do anything. Just take a walk. I don't know where your own local government is. Go to one of the local governments and you book an appointment to say you want to see the chairman. I had the opportunity once to write a letter to one of my own local government chairman. I said, why is the cottage hospital in the local government not working? Because I came there, it was overgrown by weeds. In Kano East specifically, the roof was on the ground. So I took a picture of it. I sent a letter to the chairman. I sent a copy to the governor. And the chairman, he replied and said, oh, we are trying to fix a few things up. But it is still there as I'm talking to you till now. Nothing is happening in that state cottage hospital. I forgot who built it, whether it was Tim Wobudo or Chimaroke. But that hospital is not functioning today. With all the equipment that was brought there, it is not functioning. And that is the same in all the local governments, the 17. Those, if you are, just check what I'm talking about. Go to your own local government headquarters, ask a few questions, take a look at the rubble of broken chairs, broken tables filled everywhere, and basically it's like nothing is happening. Is that what you call good governance? And as it is the government that is working against what it was supposed to be doing, and the oversight function from the House of Assembly is not taking place, because they're supposed to go to those places to find out whether the money they have approved is being used for the work that is. The local government is where you actually need to put more money, because where we are now is under a local government. I hope you know.
Sure.
Yeah. Is here Enugu South or not? I forgot. I don't know. But every local government is supposed to have certain services that they are provided. And they even say that they collecting money from market, parks and other things, that the state will take it over and refuse to allow them to collect such monies. Or if they have collected, they have to bring it back to them. So we don't have any local government, so to say.
Wow. So then, the reform that I asked earlier, I mean, this reform would have to be embedded in our laws. We have to use it. People who are there have to accept, have to sign off on the fact that these things have to change. Just like what has happened, he didn't scale through, even though for an ordinary person, that's the right thing to do. So you wonder, how do you even, improve on the local government system?
The only way to have any improvement, Charles, is participation of the people. I have proposed something that all the town union presidents and secretaries should be incorporated into the local government. Ganifa Wemi once in his National Conscience Party, you remember Ganifa Wemi, the lawyer that is late, that the money coming to the local government should be shared according to the towns. My own local government will have 15 towns. So when the money comes, call the PGs, ask them what they want to do in their towns, and let it be supervised. So the people are disenfranchised, the people are removed from government, they cannot participate. Remember what we talked about, shrinking the political space. Right. And guide it very well so that the people cannot come in to do anything. So without the participation of the people, the worst is that it is people like me and you that are clapping and dancing for the people who are crippling the place, who are preventing the work from being done, and we are the ones killing ourselves to fight for them to stay, that the local government system stays that way. Remember, there was a time when Buhari was paying money directly to the local government account.
Yes.
But don't forget that that account, you have two signatories, the chairman and the governor.
Yes.
The two of them have to sign. And if one person signs and the other does not sign, so the signatories A and B must be there in order for you to withdraw the money. And even when the reform you are talking about, that the local government gets autonomy, that the money goes directly into the local government account, and that the chairman has the right to withdraw that money alone, maybe with other principal officers. The man who appointed him can still ask him to bring the money back. You understand? And if he takes the money back and there is no oversight function, there's nothing you can do. It is just to create the awareness to ask our people, why are you sleeping and your local government is running the way it is running? And nobody is asking questions. I teach political science. I ask my students to go to their local government headquarters and book appointment to meet the chairman. A few who have done it, the chairman became apprehensive and started making calls. Who is this person? Why are they coming to ask? Remember that this is about pressure. If a chairman receives about 20 people in 1 month to come in to book appointment to see him why they don't have water, why this road has stopped and they're not constructing it again, he will get apprehensive. It is because you are not asking, you are not doing anything, you are sleeping. And moreover, you are clapping for lack of service. You are clapping for them. Look at what is happening now in the voting that we are going to do. Who are those campaigning for those candidates who have performed abysmally, who have done nothing, who have taken the money for projects and put into their pockets? Who are those who are campaigning for them? You go to, I don't know which social platforms you belong to. The ones I belong to are fighting because we are fighting against ourselves. Those who are defending people who have performed poorly, who cannot show anything. You ask yourself, by the way, just don't forget that we don't have independent candidacy. You have to belong to a party. So what is this party? What is the objective and the aim of this party in a state? If that party cannot prevail on the executives to do the work, the objective why that party was formed. So what is the meaning of that party? And that party will stay in office for 20 years, 23 years, and nothing is happening in the area. Look at the entire Southeast. I mentioned the other day, why don't you have railway linking? Go to the house and propose the law that Lagos State is doing railway. Is it not?
Yeah.
So what is stopping you from having a railway from Enugu to Onitsha or to Port Harcourt? The one of Port Harcourt was there already when Obara was governor of the Eastern region. They built the rail into the Atlantic Ocean to transport things. So why is it not working? The military came and destroyed it. So we are actually the major problem. You don't have open government, you don't have impartial dispute resolution that you can get justice. Why? What is it that they call enyendeba? You don't see it on the ground. They give they sprinkle some crumbs and then you start clapping. You are jumping up while the people are eating cow inside the house. And they want to make sure that it remains that way. Any change, we are trying to change it. Ask those people who are vying for this office or that office. I'm waiting to hear a robust discussion in the House of Assembly here, very close to where we are. I want to hear what they are talking about. So what is it that they are talking about? You will hear what is happening in the US. You remember 2 people in the Democratic Party are holding the whole House to ransom. They say, I'm not signing to this bill because it is affecting my constituency badly. I will not sign. How many people, legislators here have you heard saying anything about the people? So whatever bill that comes from the executive, they sign it. And of course, you are sponsored by the people and they tell you what to do.
So the allegiance is more to...
Yes, your allegiance is more to the man who appointed, don't forget, he who pays the piper is the one who is going to dictate the tune. So if you are afraid that I'm going to vote you out, and that is why the beavers is now raising a lot of dust. It is no longer writing results in one room and going to declare the result. So if beavers is going to work now, and people know that nobody is going to give them votes that they didn't get, let us see whether it's going to be possible, because I'm not sure whether we can trust INEC completely. My problem is stemming from the fact that how is it that the INEC portal was flooded with fictitious names, with Obama and Nelson Mandela, and how come that such names are coming into the portal? So it means you have some people in INEC who are conniving to defeat the system, and nobody has been punished. We have not heard that any INEC official was taken to court and convicted for flooding the system with fictitious names. I hope that the beavers is going to work. That is my hope.
Right. I mean, in the quest to change the system, I mean, you spoke about helping people who know their rights to try to enforce it. A civic duty is one of the civic duties actually voting. In a quest to do that, we've seen how violence stopped people, scared people away, because those who are already there feel threatened that they're going to lose their position, and the only way out is to enforce violence and scare people away. We've seen permutations of people who say that the more people come out, the more it will be to favor of one candidate, or the smaller the amount, the more it will tilt the other candidate. So you wonder really, how does the people react? How do they take over their governance, given this type of scenarios playing out, even in our own very eyes?
Yeah, I have always said, Charles, that this is always local. Let's take, for instance, go to a town. The people in the town, they know those who make trouble. They know them. And why is it that the other people, and the people who are supposed to be against it are those who are in it, who are sponsoring it? And the majority, the fear is the most important thing. I heard in the radio and the television that all the town unions are mobilizing for this election. They are saying anyone who is going to come to say sit at home, this, that they're not going to allow it. For me, maybe the first time, because the people who are causing the violence are very few in number.
Right.
So when the people mobilize themselves and come out and say this election is going to hold, we don't want anybody to come and cause a problem, they will overwhelm those people.
Right.
You know, when there's this proverb, onye na-egbu mmadụ ọgbara ndụ na mkpọ. Did you put your own life in the bottle where it cannot be reached? So you are coming out and threatening people that you are going to kill them. We are the cause of the problem, because we are not mobilizing, we are not doing anything. We sit back and do what I call a philosophy of self-defeatism. You throw your hands over your head and say, oh, sorry, there's nothing we can do. But there are many things that can be done. What are the stakeholders in the towns? What are they saying about what those people that are going to causing violence? I had one experience in Abuja. We went to the house of a retired commissioner of police where we used to hold meetings in our area. And we identified the place where criminals were. And they were overflowing into our area to do some havoc, and then they go back. So we came for this meeting and we decided to get the police to flush them out. And the commissioner said, you may not be able to do this because some politicians are using these people when they need them to work, so you have to allow them to stay.
Wow.
Yes.
Serious?
Yes. So the people who have this power, they have those that cause problem for them, and they keep them for this purpose. And when they instill fear into the people, they run away. So we are beginning. I'm saying this work is so enormous. Start from your town, start from your local government, start from your zone. For instance, I saw something about constituency projects. You can go to the internet and you look at your zone. So I went to Enugu East Senatorial Zone. I saw the constituency projects that have been given for Enugu East. So those in the House of Reps they get, those in the Senate they get. So where are those projects? And they are not done, and nobody is challenging them. I went to the office of the constituency office, that money is given to the legislator to maintain this office, have photocopy, have a computer, have a secretary who is sitting there to receive letters from your people when they come to meet you, and to plan a timetable when the legislator is going to be in the office to meet people. You come to that office, it's locked. It's like a kiosk. And people, they keep quiet and they vote that same person back. So what are we doing? What are we complaining about?
Well,
how do we have just allow only 1% of the people to hold us by the neck and put us on the ground? It is a part of the awareness we are trying to create. The ordinary person seems helpless, but of course, as you said, you cannot do it as just one person. You have to come in group. If you don't have pressure group, it is not going to work. Because when you put sugar into somebody's mouth and you want to remove it, you are looking for trouble, because you know what will happen.
You can join the conversation this morning. You can call 0700 1055 1055. You can also call 0700 1055 0000. That is 0700 1055 0000 and 0700 1055 1055. Join the conversation and make comments, ask questions, and basically talk on the issues that is in the front burner today, the principles of good governance, and as it affects local government's system. There's this other question that has been basically bothering me, just like you were mentioning, that the people have the larger role to play as relates to who rules, and vis-a-vis the fact that you put sugar in someone's mouth and then you want to remove it, then it becomes a problem.
Yeah.
Shouldn't leadership really be about service to humanity?
That's what we're talking about, that you don't have that service, and those who are supposed to be served are turning back to serve the servant who is supposed to be serving them. You go to the local government to collect a letter of the local government identification. You will go 5 times. You will be loitering around until somebody comes to tell you, you go to the madam who is in charge, so Biko Kediha Game can wait the letter. And then they tell you what to do. You have to pay money in order to get it. And that is the person who is supposed to be serving you. Pay money to get just local government identification letter. That local government has a budget to have those things and to photocopy or whatever that will make you to get the letter, but then you have to pay for it.
Wow.
So that's where we have kept ourselves. Why are the people keeping quiet? That's what we are talking about. Why are the PGs in the towns also keeping quiet? Why can't the PGs come together and go to the local government chairman and say, we want to have audience with you? We are hearing about allocations coming to our place, our local government, but can you look at what is happening? There was one incident in Amechi Dodo. They were so happy that road construction had begun. And this road was supposed to link Amechi Dodo to Amagunze, which is the headquarters of Nkanu East. Half a kilometer was built, and the road was abandoned. They saw the contractors removing their implement, and they went to the government to complain, and they were told that that is the much that they had awarded the contract. Half a kilometer.
Wow.
Yeah, if you want to go from Amechi Dodo or Ruku or Owo or Baho, Amankano, to the headquarters in Amagunze, And it would have taken you less than 15 minutes if you had a road passing through Amechi Road to Amagunze. To take you 15 minutes. But you have to come to Enugu, go to Gariki, go more than 180 degrees before you will come to the headquarters.
Wow.
Do you get the point I'm making?
Yes.
You have to come from that place to Emene. From Emene you go to Gariki. From Gariki you go to Abuane, to Abugo, before you will reach Amagunze. And that is the road that was supposed to link this place. The bridge that they built in the Inyaba River, the water washed it away within one rainy season. So, and people are putting bamboo on that river in order to cross. And that is a local government that receives millions every month. You ask yourself, where is this money? That the local government or the state will come together to build a bridge that water will wash out under one rainy season. Of course, Charles, you know, you have to do a survey. The engineer who built this, you have to do a survey and make sure that what you are building is not going to be washed away. And if those who have given that contract don't bother, and the people who own the place are watching and sitting on the bank of the river and be moaning and mourning and wailing.
This docility, do you think it's inherent?
It is inherent as much as they came and destroyed our own system that ensured that it wouldn't happen. I told you that the Igbo village democracy was the best. They took it away, destroyed it, and brought this one that is not working. Restore it. Go back. Go to the house, enact a law to change the system. There's nothing stopping us, but the people who are running it, who stepped into the shoes of the warrant chiefs and the Igbo people who tried to do a few things, they stepped into their shoes, and now the other people are like their slaves. The people have been enslaved by their own people, not now shipped to the Americas or to Europe. Because what is happening now is like enslavement. Remember the pyramid of the feudal system, where the master is sitting on top of the apex of the pyramid, and then a few people sitting near him, helping him to control the base of the pyramid.
Right.
Yeah, the ordinary people who don't know their left and right, and they collect money from them and service themselves. And remember the warrant chief had a kind of army of police that was working with him to deal with anybody who opposed him.
True.
Yes, and that's what is happening now. Even ordinary protests, you can't even do protests, and then they will come to clamp down on you. It is the people who are tolerating it, and it will burst one day, as I told you, in the places with history gives us places where one day it bursts, and then the people say, sorry, we will not have this kind of king anymore. Away with the king.
Right. So let's get back to the phone calls right now. So 0700 1055 1055. Good morning. You're welcome. What's your name and location?
You know, on what we have to do. So it's really admire what he's saying. If you admire what he's saying, I think we will not be in this problem in Nigeria today. So what he's saying there is the fact, the truth and nothing but the truth. But the problem among us is that we don't want to hear the truth and fact and follow them, to appreciate what we are looking for. So I don't know where we are going. The local government system in Nigeria is so rotten to me that it's better that system is, the local government should be eradicated. And let us try another system which will work. Because if you go to local government, you will be surprised what is going on there. Nothing is going on there but enrichment. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Hello. Good morning, Apex.
Thank you.
This morning I have been so down over the incident that happened yesterday. My elder brother, I have to tell you this, even if you return back to the days where we had before, you cannot even get what we're supposed to have. Reason being that the same men that destroy the system are the same men that will still come to the other system. So if there is anything, no matter, I don't believe that there is no any system that can work. Each man who are supposed to have that system has conscience. We have politicians in this part of the world who doesn't have conscience. Apart from politicians, have you visited the civil servant? I was among the people who they collected money from for my own identification certificate, local government identification certificate. When I was applying to travel, I was among the people they collected money from. For some of my friends, when you go to the civil servant, you will discover another beast that is even looking for a way out to show forth the beast in them if they have the opportunity. Can you go to the public sector or private sectors? Do you see what men are doing? Can you go to the people, artists who are doing jobs? Can you see that there is no conscience for people the way they are dealing? We can see it in the BOS people. My problem is that
we lost him.
Hello? Okay.
into the power. So when you talk about let us return, even if we return, those men also have conscience. And that is my greatest problem and fear. Because if you have a conscience and you know that this thing that you are doing is not what you're supposed to do, how can somebody be packing money from governor to senator, and at the end of everything he's saying fit to be there? And the one that he is there, do something that you can see with your optical eye. But he is there just because of his own selfishness. And our own people are not helping matter. Because those people that we are there, then they use some perpetrative to remain there and still wizards. When they give the cross that stands from the master's table, they will equip them to go and release mayhem in order for them to stay there and be there forever. So what will you bring to them? And what will you say about those people? Every day, every now and then, we see the reason why we are crying. And the crying, I have seen time with that number. The central government is not our problem. Neither is.
Right.
Thank you.
All right. Let's get back to you. You want to react to that?
Yes, what he's saying is true. What I don't agree is that if you go back to the system that might work, because my problem is that the political space is so closed. If you widen it and then you have clusters of power, so are you saying that the town unions cannot exert influence on the allocation that comes to the local government if they are brought in? Each town will now hold their own town union people responsible. Why things are not coming there? It's like what I saying. One warrant chief is sitting there at the local government controlling 15 towns. You see, and it is the constitution that gives him that power. If you widen that political power, power, widen it and disperse the power structure so that it is not just the chairman who is in charge of everything. That's the point I'm making. So we can change and follow what can work. And let us make local government matters election issue. For instance, I mentioned the other day, we had a political podium at the Holy Ghost on Tuesday,
Right.
where many of the aspirants came. A few questions were asked. None of them answered. One question was, are you going to vote 26% for education? Nobody answered. That's the things that we can make. Say, I will vote for you only when you are ready to vote 26% of the budget for education so that we rebuild our schools and let it function properly to secure tomorrow. How much are you going to vote for the House of Assembly? Is that money going to be less than the money voted for hospitals? So we're not making these things election issues. They come and talk blah 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 blah. They make blueprints, might be very interesting, but how do you implement them? We can see that the implementation is zero. And our people say, oh, I don't have time, I don't have time. Yes, you don't have time, but you suffer it.
Reverend, we've got to go because of time. Maybe we would have to revisit this on another date. But again, we would have to also preview next week's program. We know that Saturday is the elections. I don't know if you have concern regarding that particular.
I think that election is going to hold. From what we are hearing, I hope there will be no postponement like the last one that or sometime in 2015 that was postponed a few hours to the time. We are going to have challenges here and there, but I think the election is going to hold. Nigeria is ready, and I am hoping that a big change, a hammer, is going to fall on the people who are holding us hostage. That's what I'm hoping. But we still have more work to do. When we have finished electing the people, follow them up and make sure that they do what they have promised.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. So we're previewing next week's program.
Next week we're going to be talking about implications of this general election.
Right.
How the challenges and opportunities that we are hoping to reap from the election, assuming that the right people are now in the right positions, but you have to follow them up. That's what we'll be talking about next week.
Okay, we look forward to it, Reverend. Many thanks. We truly appreciate you. The Reverend Toby Domani is the Executive Director at the People's Creative Empowerment International, and they are actually the ones sponsoring this hour, bringing you some amazing thoughts in terms of history, governance, politics, economy, and even jobs. I want to appreciate you for coming. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless.
All right, we're back next week, same time, same station from 10 to 11. Charles is my name. Good morning.